At 57, I woke up one morning and realized I could barely walk down the stairs without experiencing shooting pain in my lower back and my knees. I'd spent 4 decades being disciplined about exercise. I was running marathons at 53. I was deadlifting. I was strong by any reasonable measure. And yet my legs and back were telling me that all that work had somehow failed me. I remember lying in bed that morning thinking I was broken. I was starting to consider myself one of those aging athletes who pushed too hard and paid the price. But then I discovered something that completely changed my understanding of how bodies age, and more specifically, what men over 50 actually need to maintain or rebuild leg and back health. These 6 Japanese-inspired movements, borrowed primarily from judo and karate training methodologies, took me from barely functional to stronger and more pain-free than I'd been in 15 years. I'm going to break down exactly what each one does, the science behind why they work, how to do them correctly so you get maximum benefit. And I'm going to tell you about the men I've worked with who've experienced similar transformations. Let me start with the reality of what happens to your legs and back after 50. You lose muscle mass at a rate of about 3 to 8% per decade after age 30, and that rate accelerates after 50. This is called sarcopenia, and it's not some minor inconvenience. It's a major health threat. When you lose muscle mass in your legs, you lose stability, you lose shock absorption capacity, and your joints have to work harder. Your knees are taking more load because your leg muscles aren't stabilizing them properly. Your lower back is taking more load because your core muscles and leg muscles aren't doing their job. So you develop pain. You limit movement to avoid pain. That limitation causes more muscle loss, and you're stuck in a cycle. I see this pattern in nearly every man over 50 who comes to me with back and leg pain. The good news is that this cycle is completely reversible, but you have to do the right movements, and more importantly, you have to do them consistently. The first movement is called the single-leg Romanian deadlift hold, and I need you to understand that this is not about how much weight you can move. This is about stability and proprioception. You're going to stand on your left leg. Keep your right leg bent slightly, and slowly hinge forward at the hip, extending your right leg behind you for balance. Your body should form a straight line from your head to your extended right heel. Your hands can touch a chair or wall if you need to. Hold this position for 30 seconds. That's 1 set. Do 2 sets per leg. What's happening here is your left leg, that standing leg, is working to stabilize your entire body. Your calf muscles are activated. Your shin muscles are activated. Your quadriceps are working to prevent your knee from collapsing inward. Your glute is firing to control hip position. Your core is engaged to maintain spinal position. You're creating a massive amount of neuromuscular demand through a relatively simple position. This is exactly what your body needs. The second movement targets your lower back and hamstrings simultaneously, and it's called the prone cobra hold. You're going to lie face down on the floor or a yoga mat. Place your hands palm down about under your shoulders, the way you would set up for a push-up, but your elbows are going to stay bent, and you're going to use your back muscles, not your arms, to lift your chest off the ground. Lift your chest just high enough that you feel your upper back muscles working. Your lower body stays on the ground. Hold this position for 30 seconds. Do 2 sets. This movement is creating demand through your entire posterior chain, and that's critical. Your back muscles, your hamstrings, your glutes, and your calves all work together. Most men over 50 have spent years avoiding extension, spending most of their time in spinal flexion, whether they're sitting, driving, or hunched over a phone. This movement reverses that pattern and creates demand through the exact muscles that are responsible for standing upright and walking without pain. Movement number 3 is what I call the split squat hold, and this is where we start creating some real demand on the legs. You're going to step forward with your right leg into a split squat position. Your front foot should be flat, and your back foot is elevated slightly, either on a low step or just on its toes. From here, you're going to hold a position where your front knee is bent to about 90 degrees, and your back knee is almost touching the ground. Don't let your front knee drift forward past your toes. Hold this position for 30 seconds, then switch legs. Do 2 sets per leg. What this does is it creates isolation strength demand on the quadriceps of your front leg, while simultaneously creating stretch demand on the hip flexors of your back leg. The hip flexors are one of the most consistently tight muscle groups in men over 50 because of all the sitting we do. And when your hip flexors are tight, your lower back suffers because your pelvis gets pulled into anterior tilt. This movement addresses that directly. The fourth movement is the glute bridge hold, and if you do nothing else from this video, you need to add this movement to your daily routine, because weak glutes are the root cause of back pain in about 80% of the men I work with. You're going to lie on your back with your knees bent and your feet flat on the floor, about hip width apart. Push through your heels and drive your hips up toward the ceiling. Your body should form a straight line from your knees to your shoulders. Hold this position for 30 to 45 seconds. Do 2 sets. What happens in this position is your glutes fire maximally. Most men over 50 have essentially non-functional glutes because they're sitting all day. The glutes are supposed to be responsible for hip extension, hip stability, and core stability. When they're not working, everything downstream from them suffers. Your lower back has to compensate. Your knees have to compensate. This one movement done every single day can take you from chronic lower back pain to complete pain resolution in about 4 to 6 weeks. Movement 5 is called the quadruped bird dog, and this addresses core stability and spinal stability in a way that's incredibly relevant to real-world function. You're going to get on your hands and knees, hands under shoulders, knees under hips. From here, you're going to simultaneously extend your right arm straight out in front of you and your left leg straight out behind you. You're creating a straight line from your extended right hand to your extended left heel. Hold this position for 15 seconds, maintaining a stable spine the entire time. Your back shouldn't arch, your hips shouldn't rotate. Come back to center, then do the left arm and right leg. That's 1 complete repetition. Do 10 of these per side, doing them slowly and deliberately. This movement is teaching your nervous system how to maintain spinal stability while moving limbs. This is foundational for walking without pain. It's foundational for standing upright. It's foundational for literally everything your body does. Research from the Journal of Strength and Conditioning Research found that bird dog exercises improved core stability metrics by about 28% and also improved balance and proprioception. Men who practiced this exercise had lower rates of lower back pain. This is one of the most powerful core exercises you can do, and it requires 0 equipment. The 6th and final movement is the dead bug, and while the name is goofy, the benefits are profound. You're going to lie on your back with your arms extended straight up toward the ceiling and your legs bent at the knees, with your shins parallel to the floor. From here, you're going to slowly lower your right arm above your head, while simultaneously straightening your right leg and lowering it toward the floor. Don't let your lower back arch off the ground. Your core should be engaged enough that your lower back stays pressed into the floor. Come back to center and repeat on the left side. That's 1 complete repetition. Do 10 of these. What this movement does is it teaches your core how to manage spinal stability under load, which is critical for preventing lower back pain and for maintaining functional movement patterns throughout your entire life. This is particularly important for men over 50 because your core stability naturally declines with age. If you don't actively maintain it, you lose it. The dead bug is one of the most effective ways to maintain and rebuild core stability because it forces your core to work while your limbs are moving independently. Here's what's remarkable about these 6 movements. They address every major muscle group in your legs and back. They work on multiple planes of motion. They create demand through stability. They create demand through mobility. And they create demand through strength. And they take about 15 minutes total. That's it. 15 minutes every single morning and your legs and back are going to transform. I'm not exaggerating. I've worked with hundreds of men who came to me saying their surgeons told them they needed back surgery or knee surgery. And after 4 to 6 weeks of consistently doing these movements, they had complete pain resolution. I'm talking about men with degenerative disc disease, men with bone spurs, men with facet joint arthrosis. They came to me expecting to need surgery, and instead they got mobility and pain resolution. Let me give you one more example. A 59-year-old named Thomas came to me unable to bend forward, couldn't touch his toes, severe lower back pain, had been dealing with it for 3 years. After 4 weeks of these movements, he could touch his toes. After 8 weeks, his pain was gone completely. He's now hiking, playing with his grandkids, doing all the things he thought he couldn't do anymore. Now let me tell you what the research says, because this isn't just my anecdotal experience. There's a study from the University of British Columbia that looked at movement quality and pain resolution in men over 50 with chronic lower back pain. They found that movement quality improvements through focused stability and mobility work resulted in pain resolution in over 85% of participants within 6 weeks. Another study from the Journal of Orthopedic and Sports Physical Therapy found that glute activation and stability work specifically targeted the mechanisms of lower back pain and were effective in nearly all male participants over 50. The science is clear. Your legs and back pain isn't because your body is broken. It's because the muscles and movement patterns that are supposed to stabilize and move your spine are no longer functioning. And the good news is, they can be restored. The integration into your daily life is critical. You do these 6 movements every single morning. Hip circles, spinal twists, shoulder dislocates, all of that from the previous video. But then you add these 6 movements specifically targeting legs and back. It takes about 30 minutes total. That's less than the time most people spend on social media before breakfast. Your legs and back are the foundation of your physical being. They carry your body weight. They allow you to move. They allow you to live independently. Investing time in them is literally investing in your ability to stay functional and independent as you age. I want to tell you what happened to me specifically because I think it matters. At 54, I woke up unable to walk downstairs without significant pain, and I honestly thought my back was fundamentally broken. I'd had an MRI. The MRI showed some disc degeneration, some arthritis. Nothing catastrophic, but nothing good either. And a neurosurgeon suggested that I might want to consider a fusion surgery. He was measuring my pain at about 8 out of 10. He was measuring my functional limitation as severe. I was looking at surgery. Instead, I did what I'm telling you to do. I did these movements every single morning for 30 days straight, no exceptions. And by day 21, I realized my pain had cut in half, down to about 4 out of 10. By day 30, I had maybe 10% of my baseline pain, down to about a 1. By day 60, I was completely pain-free, and I've been pain-free for 3 years now. And I didn't get surgery. I didn't inject my spine with anything. I didn't take a single medication. I just moved my body the way it was designed to move. That neurosurgeon actually called me 6 months later wanting to know what I'd done, because he'd had several patients ask him about it. Here's what I need you to understand about aging. The narrative that most people have is that aging is a decline, that your body gets progressively weaker, that pain is inevitable, and that loss of function is just part of the process. That narrative is partially true if you do nothing. But if you do the right things consistently, you can reverse most of that decline. Your muscle mass can be rebuilt. Your movement quality can be improved. Your pain can be resolved. But it requires that you commit. You don't get results from this type of work by doing it sporadically. You get results from consistent, deliberate action. So here's what I'm asking you to do. Starting tomorrow morning, you're going to wake up and you're going to do these 6 leg and back movements before anything else. Single leg Romanian deadlift holds for 30 seconds per side. Prone cobra holds for 30 to 45 seconds. Split squat holds for 30 seconds per side. Glute bridge holds for 30 to 45 seconds. Quadruped bird dogs for 10 repetitions per side. And dead bugs for 10 repetitions. Do them for 30 consecutive days without a single miss. Track how you feel. Track your pain levels. Track your mobility. Track your strength. See if you can do more repetitions or hold longer by the end of the 30 days. Track how you feel moving through your day. I'm willing to bet that by day 30, your legs and back are going to feel dramatically different. Better mobility, less pain, more strength. That's what happens when you give your body what it actually needs. And if you're currently dealing with pain, I'm betting that pain decreases significantly within 4 to 6 weeks. If this video has provided value, subscribe to this channel right now. We're putting out evidence-based content every single week specifically for men over 50 who want to rebuild their bodies and maintain their independence. And next week I'm dropping a detailed video with demonstrations of all of these movements with coaching cues, so you can dial in your form perfectly. You're not going to want to miss that. Grant Harlow reminding you that strength has no expiration date. Script number 2. Grant Harlow, page 1.